we're gonna test out 3 different rigs for how you need them in Texas. Now, all these rigs are meant for running around mountains and stuff like that. Here in Texas, it's relatively flat. So what we need is coolness, how well does it cool, and how loud is it? So what I use these rigs for is running around the ranch, finding big ranch community properties, and then selling small individual ranches within that ranch community. I need to be quiet when I'm showing a ranch so we can have a conversation. What we don't want is somebody getting sweaty in a loud rig. So here we go. 3 comparisons on the AC, and I'm gonna use my iWatch to get the decibels. We've got the Polaris Xpedition. This is a new rig that just came out. We've got the Can-Am Limited. That's a 2023 as well. And then we've got a Polaris Ranger, all with a cab. That one's a year or 2 old, but these are pretty fair comparisons. We've got this rig coming in at about $50,000 out the door. We've got this rig coming in about $33,000, $34,000 at the door. And we've got the Polaris Ranger coming in around $30,000 to $31,000 out the door as it sits. So, which one will work for us here in Texas? Let's find out. So first we've got the Polaris Xpedition. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drive 15 to 20 miles an hour down a dirt road, record the decibels on my iWatch, and hit the AC running 3/4 to see how cold it's blowing. Now, to give you an example, going down that same dirt road in a King Ranch Super Duty diesel is about 50 to 52 decibels. Yesterday I was at a pep rally in a gym. We were at 100 decibels when everybody went crazy. So we're gonna compare all 3. I'm not exactly sure how accurate this is, but it should be precise in comparison. So here we go. We're at 78 decibels. 77 decibels. And 53 degrees. Now, a couple things to know on this rig. This is not completely stock. The dealership that I bought it from put in a clutch system so it runs 2,000 RPMs less than it did stock. The reason they did that was because of the cab noise. And they put bigger tires on it. They went from 31s to 32s. So once again, you're gonna be traveling more ground with less engine noise. 77 and 53 on the Polaris Xpedition. Now let's go to the Can-Am Defender. Now we're in the 23 Can-Am Defender Limited. We're gonna run down the same road, going the same speed. We're gonna check the decibels on the watch, and we're gonna check the AC temp. So here we go. So we are running at 73. Somewhere between 71 and 73 on the noise. We're at 63 on the air. 71, 73, 63 on the air. So this, compared to the Polaris Xpedition, is a couple decibels less noisy. Definitely not blowing as cold. Still in the 70s on the decibels. And a lot less cool. I didn't go full blast on any of them. I'm running about 3/4 speed on the blower. And our third and final rig is gonna be the Polaris Ranger. This is the one with the cab. It's a 1000cc engine. Same road, same AC. And here we go. So we're at 77 decibels, 90 on the AC, which doesn't seem right. $92. So 77, 78, which it's the same engine as the Polaris Xpedition. This one's definitely not blowing cold.
portable on the AC.
All right, so the results are in. We've got all three. We've got the Polaris Xpedition, we've got the Can-Am Defender, and we've got the Polaris Ranger. Now, the results. Noise. The best noise, running at about 72, 73 decibels, was the Can-Am Defender. The Polaris Ranger and the Polaris Xpedition were right at 77. So we've got 72, 73, we've got 77, 78 on both the Polaris products. Now remember, they've got the same engines. Now one thing to remember here also is this is not stock. This one has got a bigger tire and it's got a clutch system, an aftermarket clutch system to run about 2,000 RPMs at the same speed. So if we're just talking stock noise, this one would definitely be the loudest within the cab, going at that 15 to 20 miles an hour. But because of that clutch system, it set it right there even with the other Polaris Ranger. So we're talking about 5 decibels. It did seem a little significant, but would not be a game changer when you're showing your ranch climbing around. Maybe a little bit, having to speak a little bit louder, that's all. When it comes to blowing the AC, now this is kind of telltale, but this one definitely blew the coldest. It was hands down, you could feel it. This one was right behind it, and then I believe there's something wrong with the AC unit on this Polaris Ranger. It just didn't get cold at all. Now, I don't know if that's fair or if that's telling that a new unit's already blowing hot air. But when it came to the cooling, by far and away, the Polaris Xpedition felt like an iceberg. So, a lot of times I'll have to get an Icy Breeze cooler and put it in the cab just to keep it cool. In addition to the AC units, I don't believe this is the case with the Polaris Xpedition. That just felt cold and comfortable. So I would say the overall winner would be the Polaris Xpedition just because of comfort. The AC, and it didn't seem that much louder than the Can-Am Defender. Now, once again, it was a little bit, especially with the clutch system. I think it dampened it. Overall, it was definitely in between these two, but I would give the edge to the Polaris Xpedition.